Hey Otaku fam! Welcome to our channel. This is our second part recap of Eminence in Shadow Season 1. If you haven't watched the first part, the link is in the description. Let us hit 1,000 likes for this video. Please support us by subscribing to this new channel. Enjoy watching. The episode begins with Sherry eating the chocolate given by Sid and pondering with the words her father mentioned to her. The next day, Sid, noticing Nu trailing him in school, learned about the cult of Diablos and their brainwashing tactics. Nu shared intel on the Diablos kidnapping cult orphans. Sid realized the Shadow Garden name was bait. Motivated, Sid decided to enter the Bushy tournament to showcase his role as a background character. Reflecting on her life before becoming a monster, Nu felt grateful for Shadow's intervention. During the preliminary rounds, Claire won her match, and students bet on fights. Sid's friends, low on money, hoped for his success. The battle between school president Rose and Sid commenced. Determined, Sid aimed to prove his worth as the best ordinary background character, practicing tirelessly. Soon after, Sid initiated his fight, strategically allowing Rose to inflict a serious injury by biting a ketchup bag. Unveiling his secret technique, the Bloody Tornado, he took pride in his perfect background character performance. Surprisingly, Sid stood up again, intending to showcase his remaining 47 background techniques. Despite repeated defeats, he persisted, leaving Rose bewildered. The referee intervened, declaring Rose the winner, leaving Sid disappointed. His friends lost their savings, and Sid harbored hope to display his remaining techniques. Sherry, whom he forgot the name, praised his fight, inviting him for tea and offering homemade cookies. They agreed to start as friends. Confused, Sid noticed Professor Lutheran Barnett, a former Bushin Festival champion, shocked that he is Sherry's father. Later, Sid learned Sherry had no friends due to her dedication to research. Lutheran requested Sid to look after her, and he played along. That evening, Sherry planned to visit Sid in the hospital, contemplating Alexia's relationship with him. Amidst enjoying her black coffee, Alexia welcomed Sherry, who revealed her preference for sugary coffee. Sherry, curious about Alexia's relationship with Sid, learned they had broken up, making her ecstatic. Alexia, shocked, discovered Sherry's feelings for Sid and the gifted chocolate. Grateful, Sherry thanked Alexia for the coffee. 5 days later, Sid returned to school, continuing his routine while secretly strengthening his grip. Rose, the school council president, surprised to see him again, visited his classroom. Meanwhile, the cult of Diablos activated a magical artifact, shrouding Midgar School in a mysterious barrier. Sherry sensed something amiss. Alexia, back at school, questioned why the gate was closed and discovered a staff member soaked in blood. Sid noticed that his magical power is weakening, and no one noticed it. Masked thugs claimed to be from Shadow Garden, entered the room intending to seize the school. Rose resisted. During the attack, Rose struggled with her magic, due to the artifact activated by the cult. Sid, playing the background character, sacrificed himself to save her, leaving Rose shocked and incredulous. Horrified by Sid's sacrifice, Rose initially believed it was out of love for her. However, she later realized he aimed to prove himself as the perfect background character. Ordered to surrender, Rose felt gratitude for Sid saving her life. All students gathered in the auditorium, serving as hostages. Sid, secretly an overpowered main character, revived himself using magic. Proud of employing his background character technique, the 10-minute death, heartbreak. Though his magic was weakened, he managed to use it. Sherry, unaware of the ongoing attack, learned more about the cult of Diablo's magical artifact. Criminal Rex demanded her pendant, intending to kill her. Vice Commander Glenn intervened, impressing Rex with his non-magical defense. Rex discovered he was fighting Glenn, the vice commander of the Crimson Order, prompting Marco to order Sherry to flee. Meanwhile, Sid, observing at the top of a building, prepared for his Eminence of Shadow performance. Annoyed by the criminal's lack of aesthetic dressing, he vented about his style, and using his slime as a sniper, began eliminating them. Sid noticed a pink-haired girl in the building, realizing it is Sherry. Determined to help, he eliminated the enemies as Sherry planned to reach her father's office. Unaware of the many enemies around, Sid protected her from the shadows. Sherry, aiming to solve the artifact mystery, stumbled on a staircase. Sid caught her, giving her the artifact. Though worried about his injuries, Sid assured he was fine. Sherry discovered the artifact, the Eye of Avarice, is what's blocking their magic. She explained its programming ability and a person with infinite riz still using magic. Sherry proposed a plan to deactivate the artifact, involving a tunnel under the school. Lacking decoding tools, Sid offered to fetch them. Meanwhile, Rex reported about the knights gathering outside, but faced his boss's anger for not obtaining the artifact. Warned about defeated members, Rex sought Sherry, only to find his allies missing. Confronted by Sid, Rex activated his ability in a magical barrier but proved no match. Confused and defeated, Rex realized Sid had been toying with him, unable to comprehend the sudden end. Sid reappeared, finishing him off. Shortly afterward, Nu discovered the defeated Knights of the Crimson Order and sensed her master, Shadow Sid. Sid learned only the 7 shadows could fight, with Gamma lacking combat skills. Gamma believed they would regain magic soon, and Nu stated they would stand by until ordered by Shadow. Assisting her master in finding tools, Sid revealed plans to neutralize an artifact, surprising and admiring Nu for his strategy. Meanwhile, Iris and her knights prepared to rescue the students. Shadow Garden covertly observed the situation, awaiting Shadow's orders. Sherry successfully decoded the magical artifact, revealing a secret way to the school auditorium. As they entered the tunnel, Sherry recalled her mother's murder by Lutheran, who had deceived her into living with him. Grateful for Lutheran's fatherly treatment, Sherry remained hopeful about her father's safety. Meanwhile, a student's attempt to attack the leader was futile, and Rose acknowledged the odds against the enemies. A loud noise echoed as a student was shot, prompting fear among the students. Sherry, determined to save everyone, reached the auditorium, witnessing students dying. Activating her magical artifact, she dissolved the barrier, empowering Rose and the students to overwhelm the enemies. Rose, planning to eliminate the leader, encountered numerous obstacles, recalling a masked boy from her past. Shadow appeared, showcasing a beautiful entrance and declaring Shadow Garden's counterattack. The enemies were overwhelmed, and Shadow planned to pursue their escape. The auditorium began to burn, observed by Gamma on the roof. Shadow suspected the enemy leader's involvement and disappeared. Iris arrived, learning Shadow Garden had defeated the enemies. In the tunnel, Sherry searched for her father, while the enemy leader, Lutheran, burned documents. Sid confronted Lutheran, questioning his alignment with an evil organization. Lutheran, suffering from an illness, sought the artifact's potential cure. Sherry's mother, deeming it dangerous, refused, leading to her murder. Lutheran admitted exploiting Sherry, but also desired power. Sid realized Lutheran's motives and intentions. Sid decided they had talked enough and initiated a fight with Lutheran, intentionally losing to showcase his talent as a background character. Returning as Shadow, Luther, unaware of Shadow's identity, activated the magical artifact, hoping to become more powerful. Despite Lutheran's attacks, Shadow easily withstood them. Lutheran, determined, faced the overwhelming power of Shadow, claiming Shadow Garden's reputation was ruined. In the end, Shadow, revealing his true monstrous form, stabbed Luther several times, ending the fight and destroying the dangerous artifact. Sherry arrived, discovering her father's lifeless body. Shadow, choosing not to disclose the truth, anticipated her hatred. Days later, a bounty was placed on Shadow and his organization. Alpha suspected Shadow played the villain to protect the world from the shadows, admiring their leader. At school, Sherry sought Sid to bid farewell, expressing gratitude and revealing her plan to leave the country. Sid wished her luck, and she hoped to know him better. Before departing, Sid inquired about her goals, but Sherry kept it a secret. She left the Migger Kingdom, and Sid sensed her intent for revenge against Shadow. The school lay in partial ruins as an early summer break began, prompting most students to head home. Sid, opting to remain in the capital, aimed to stay hidden from his sister as he pursued a mission of hunting criminals from the shadows. A letter from Alpha revealed his next mission would take place in the sacred land of Lindworm. In the City of Deception, many members of Shadow Garden prepared for their upcoming mission. Epsilon utilized magical slime to change her appearance, recalling guidance from Shadow on its use in the shadows. Meanwhile, Beta was writing a story. Shadow faced off against Isekai, but this time, Beta was kidnapped. Feeling uninspired for her writing, Beta crossed paths with Epsilon, who candidly shared that Shadow favored her physique. Both Beta and Epsilon harbored crushes on Shadow, leading to a rivalry as they vied to become his wife. Iris and Alexia embarked on a shopping trip to the popular department store in the capital. Iris revealed that she would be a special guest at the goddess's trial, and Alexia intended to buy new clothes for the occasion. Gamma, aware of Alexia's upcoming journey to the sacred land, assisted her in preparing for the trip while subtly observing Alexia's crush on a boy. During their shopping spree, the princesses came across the latest thong collection. Alexia expressed her desire to buy underwear, intending to use it as a secret weapon to win a fight. Initially finding the idea too revealing, Iris was eventually persuaded by Alexia, who ended up purchasing a considerable amount of thongs. The story then shifted to the day the school was attacked. Rose rushed into the school's hospital room and discovered Sid is alive. Overjoyed by his survival and fueled by the realization that Sid had NPC Riz, Rose's feelings for Sid deepened. This unexpected development led to Rose falling in love with him. A few days later, Sid found himself on a train with Rose, and she excitedly mentioned their impending arrival in the sacred land. Regretting his choice of taking the train, Sid reminisced about meeting Rose at the station. Soon, Rose inquired if Sid would participate in the goddess trial. While Rose dreamed of a future together, Sid, being a player with a harem of several women, hesitated. Desiring some space, Sid attempted to avoid Rose, even using his Spider-Man powers to hide from her at night. Despite his efforts, Rose persisted. The following morning, as Sid looked at the city in the sacred land, Rose shared a legend about the hero Olivier cutting off the left arm of the demon Diablos. Rose then discovered that her favorite author, Natsume, was having a meet and greet. Learning that Natsume was considered the most talented writer of the century, Sid recognized the stories from his old world and realized that Beta, one of her shadows, is the famous author. Later, Rose showed Sid a personal signing from Natsume, and upon closer inspection, he found a message in Japanese left by Beta. Meanwhile, Alpha planned to uncover the truth about the great hero Olivier, and upon learning that Olivier was hiding something, Alpha anticipated the imminent opening of a mysterious door. While Sid enjoyed the view from the highest point in the city, he suddenly spotted an assassin belonging to the cult of Diablos, and in a valiant chase, he skillfully blocked the enemy's attack with a piece of wood. Epsilon appeared at the site, and Sid inquired about the mission. Epsilon reported the target's elimination by the cult's executioner, and together, they managed to deal with their henchmen. Sid then informed Epsilon that he would proceed with his own plans. The unfolding events promised both excitement and mystery for Sid and his companions. The following day, Sid eagerly anticipated his bath in the hot springs, undressing with enthusiasm. As he soaked in the hot spring, Alexia was shocked to discover her crush, Sid, in the same bath. Ignoring her presence, Sid enjoyed his bath, seemingly unfazed. Learning that she was a special guest for the goddess's trial, Alexia informed Sid about the participation of ancient warriors in the event. Despite Alexia's attempt to recruit him into the Crimson Knights, Sid declined. Playfully teasing Alexia, Sid showcased his skills and claimed to be the reincarnation of Johnny Sins, impressing her. In the days that followed, Archbishop Nelson announced the goddess trial, attributing Olivier's powers to goddess Beatrix. Alexia harbored resentment toward Nelson for her futile investigation and noticed men cheering for Beta. Feeling jealous of Beta's perceived relationship with Master Shadow, Alexia confronted Beta. Meanwhile, Rose remained unaware of the brewing tension between Alexia and Beta. The goddess trial began, and Nelson activated a protective barrier, summoning ancient warriors through the sanctuary door. Excitement filled the air as participants geared up to fight against these formidable opponents. As the trial began, Sid overheard background characters discussing the potential for a captivating show as Eminence in Shadow. The next challenger was called, but no ancient warrior appeared, prompting Sid's anticipation. Sid was unexpectedly announced as a challenger to summon an ancient warrior. Opting for option 3 to avoid punishment, he distracted the audience with a spirit ball. transforming into Shadow, the most wanted man in the kingdom. Meanwhile, Jack's alliance with the cult of Diablos was revealed in the midst of challenge. Aurora, the Witch of Calamity, came out. The fight between Aurora and Shadow began. It became apparent Shadow was no ordinary Dark Knight. Defending masterfully against her attacks, Shadow then defeated her with a single blow, and a magical circle appeared, which is a portal to the sacred land. The same magical circle door appeared in front of Sid. He ignored it, but it kept following him wherever he went. With no other choice, Sid entered the magical circle. Meanwhile, Epsilon defeated the church's guards, and Alpha headed for the portal with Delta. Nelson revealed the sanctuary's restricted access, but Epsilon insisted on waiting until the door closed. Suddenly, an assassin attacked her, exposing Epsilon's disguise. Infuriated by the attack, she defeated the enemy. In Olivier's sanctuary, Alpha questioned the resemblance between Olivier and herself. Shadow Garden suspected the cult of Diablos had a hidden agenda, leading them to open a secret door. Meanwhile, Sid and Aurora, having enjoyed their recent fight, decided to work together to escape the magic-restrictive prison dimension. In another part of the dimension, Alpha's group reached a laboratory in Olivier's memories, exposing the cult of Diablo's cruel experiments on kidnapped children. Consequently, Sid and Aurora observed a memory where a little girl resembling Aurora was crying. Aurora, dismissive, slapped the girl. Back to Alpha, she explained that Olivier was one of the few compatible with Diablo cells. Alpha disclosed the cult's attempt to implant demon cells into children, and Olivier's mission to acquire Diablo cells. Nelson resisted acknowledging the truth as more memories unfolded, revealing Diablo's severed arm causing problems. Powerful artifacts were used to seal the arm. Alpha clarified that the cult sought access to the massive life force of Diablo cells, but their goal failed due to side effects from the pills. They discovered Nelson's involvement in the research team, creating an item with a peculiar name. Alpha pressed for the name. Nelson was forced to utter beads of Diablos. Alpha narrates the flaws in the beads of Diablos, while Alexia teased Nelson's baldness. Delta unexpectedly killed Nelson, tossing him in a river while the consumption of beads of Diablos was in discussion. Despite apparent demise, Alpha had doubts of Nelson's survival. Shockingly, Nelson transformed monstrously. In a sudden turn of events, they found themselves teleported to another dimension, separated from Epsilon and the rest of the group. Amidst the chaos, Nelson displayed confidence in his abilities, creating clones of himself. This action irked Delta, leading her to launch an attack on all the clones. That's our recap for episodes 7 to 12 of Eminence in the Shadow Season 1. If you enjoyed every twist and turn, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and ring the notification bell to stay in the loop for the next part and other epic animecaps. Thank you for watching. See you on our next recap videos.